How's it going, you guys? Scott with Everyday Home Repairs. Now I am in the middle of a complete lawn renovation. You can tell the lawn behind me has seen better days. Well, that's because I did a complete kill of the lawn. I removed about 10 years of thatch, which was a fun project in itself. And now I'm ready to start putting down fertilizer and new seed, but I don't want to do that until I have a rock solid way to water the grass seed to give it the best shot of germination and to really fill out this new lawn. So to do that, instead of a traditional irrigation system that would have heads all over my lawn, miles of pipe, what I'm going to do is turn to a company called Irrigreen, which this is one of their head units that can cover a diameter of 60 feet with one unit. It reduces the amount of trenching and pipe you have to put in the ground. And the best part, it has completely customizable patterns. So you do not have to just do a standard circle. You can actually do multi-point polygons around your trees, around your play sets, around your house, whatever obstacles, and you aren't having any overlap. So those are really the features that sold me on this. So let's go ahead and jump into installation so you can see all the steps in the process and see if it's right for your own home. So first things first, let's go ahead and check two different parameters. One's gonna be the pressure. So I have this little pressure gauge on this spigot. The spigot's running from 3/4 inch copper that goes up into a vacuum brake valve, which is required by most codes for an irrigation system to make sure we do not have flow coming from our irrigation system back into our drinking water, so no toxins or fertilizers or anything could get back in there. So we'll talk more on the plumbing, but right now the spigot is going to give us right where we're taking it off what is the pressure. We want to see between 40 and 80 psi, with 60 being the desired. All right, I'm running a little hot there, but I'm right at about 66 psi, so that's great. So now we'll go ahead and fill up a 5-gallon bucket to get the flow rate. I'm just gonna use this little hose, turn it on, and then also time. And then from that time and also knowing the volume here of 5 gallons, we'll be able to get our gallons per minute, which we want to be at least 8 gallons per minute for the Irrigreen system. So to fill up the 5 gallons, it was right at, let's round up to 25 seconds. So I'll take this volume here of 5 gallons per minute, and I'll divide that by the 25 seconds it took. That's gonna give me 0.2 gallons per second, and then we'll multiply by 60 seconds in a minute, and that's gonna give us 12. So now we know we have 12 gallons per minute coming out of that spigot, which is gonna be the supply for our irrigation system. So we're both good on pressure and on flow rate. So we're looking good on the water source, but now how do we know the design? How do we know how many sprinkler heads we need and where to put them throughout their yard? Because obviously we're not gonna start trenching until we know where we're trenching to. So there's a link in the description below the video, and that'll take you over to irrigreen.com where you can enter in your address. That's gonna give you a satellite view of your home. And for me, I'm only doing the front part of my yard. That's where I'm starting off. And that is the beauty of the Irrigreen system, is I will be able to expand this exact same system with more sprinkler heads to my backyard when I'm ready for that and I do the renovation on the backyard. So I'm just setting my polygons. And for me, I'm actually going around my trees with this polygon. Just know you can set the rough outline of your yard and then remove the trees in the next step if you need to. Either way will work out for you. So once that polygon's set, then you'll go to the next part. I'm going to say no because I'm not going to remove any more trees, as I already did that with my polygons. And then we can start to set how many sprinkler heads. The nice thing is these will adapt to that yard polygon, the outline that we set, and also adapt to the other sprinkler heads that you set. This is going to help you minimize the number of sprinkler heads to get complete coverage throughout your yard. And for me, that was actually only 4 sprinkler heads needed for coverage. And the overall system cost goes down as you place more sprinkler heads on a per sprinkler head basis, because the control unit has a set cost and can handle about 4 times the amount of sprinkler heads that I'm setting in. Once I have that rough location, then I'm just going to walk it out and get my dowel rods here as stakes indicating the location of the sprinkler heads. Once I have my stakes, I'll use a tape measure. I'll confirm 30-foot radius from each of those locations that I have complete coverage to my yard. And I can even go over the sidewalk here if I want to get that one little strip of grass, but also between sprinkler heads that I don't have more than 60 feet, 30 radius from each of those. So between each sprinkler head we'll have complete coverage. This is just a good double check because you're not going to want to start trenching until you make sure that those locations are correct, or you're going to have to do some redo work later on. So I'll then just take a string line and I'll put it between each of these locations. And what this is going to help me do is just mark off the trench that I want to dig. That will give me 1-inch PVC running from each of these sprinkler head locations, which is the size of pipe that I'll be using. And then I'll just mark that with paint. So then I can remove the string line, remove my dowel rods, and I will X in the ground indicating the sprinkler location, but then we could start our trenching. So now I'm confident in the locations for the 1-inch PVC and I need to start trenching. I highly recommend renting a trencher for this. This is a small 18-inch max depth, 3 inches wide, so it'll be plenty for me to get that 1-inch PVC in, but you do not need a larger, like 24-inch depth, 4-inch trencher, which is a very common size when you're running like conduit or PVC for your downspouts or doing some type of drainage project. You can have one like this and it's going to get you everything you need, because I'm actually only going to go down to 8 to 10 inches, so this will give me plenty of depth. Just know, before you start trenching, even if you're doing it by hand, you need to call Julie or whoever locates your utilities in your area. You want your power, your gas, your fiber optics, your cable, or anything else located. But be clear, this is not going to locate Romex running through to a light post in your yard. This is not going to locate corrugated pipe running from your downspouts. It's not going to locate your sump pump discharge pipe. Any of those things are local to your house and they will not be located. So you do need to have an idea where those are at. But here on my yard, everything is located. I feel good about the plan, so it's time to start trenching. So I'll start off by the sidewalk here and just rock it back and forth. Why I'm rocking there is this type of trencher is not self-propelled. So you pull it back a few teeth on these sprockets, it locks it in place, and then the chain eats away down to the depth for which you set. And I'm really only going down about 10 inches here. I also did time it out, and I could cover about 150 feet of trenching in 1 hour. The only manual trenching I needed to do was in my landscaping from the water supply over to that sidewalk. So I needed to take back the landscape fabric, dig down, take a little bit of time here so I have a nice clean path for the PVC. In addition, I need to get under that sidewalk. So I just took a crowbar to both sides, dug it out, and then once I got close enough, I just took a section of PVC and kind of tapped it through so we'd have a nice continuous run of the 1-inch underneath the sidewalk. All right, so with the digging and trenching primarily complete, we'll have a little bit of digging at each one of the sprinkler heads, so we'll have 4 locations we're installing. But now I want to start tying in the water line. I'm going from 3/4 of an inch copper where I'm using press fittings. Now usually press fittings, you also need to have a super fancy like Rigid or Milwaukee tool, which is cordless and it presses, and it's like $3,000. But I just have this one off Amazon. I've used this on about 4 different projects. It costs about 150 bucks. And it's super handy. So this is a lot more effort to press it and you need some clearance, but then you can press these on and there's an O-ring inside that gives you the seal. Now I'm going to go from that press fitting 3/4 of an inch, and then I'm going to transition over to PVC and go 1-inch PVC, and then that's what's going to be going out through the trenches. Now let me know in the comments. I'm interested to get your feedback. It helps me kind of tailor these videos. Would you take this part on, or would you hire this out to a plumber and then do the irrigation system yourself? I'm curious to know if you guys are going to do it all DIY, and if you do need some help on this one, there is a link in the description to where I installed a spigot at this location. The only difference there is instead of 1/2-inch PEX that I used to go from unfinished part of my basement through a finished part of my basement where we had to cut a hole in drywall, it's actually 3/4 of an inch PEX to make sure we get that flow rate that we want. So let's start tying this all together, and then we'll flush out each of those locations, make sure there's no debris in the system, and start connecting up our sprinkler heads and then getting our control unit set and start testing things out. So we'll tie our copper into our PVC right at the start and start working our way around the trench, starting in the landscaping, going underneath that sidewalk, and then just gluing together each of the 10-foot sections of PVC. So I'll give you a close-up look of this last one, putting it together. This is going to be the last of my 4 sprinklers. Now this end here, I'm just capping off. This is going to be for future expansion. I'm going to extend out to my backyard in the future, so I'm just going to cap this off. In the future, I'll cut this off, put a coupling, and extend out my 1-inch PVC. So for this sprinkler head, what I'm doing is I'm putting an 1.25-inch shut-off valve in. So first I need to go from 1 inch to 1.25 inches. So we just put a little bushing in here. Put that on. Once you have it to 1.25 inches, then we'll go ahead and put our shutoff, our Schedule 40 PVC shutoff in. And then we'll do a bushing, and that'll go 1.25 inches to 1 inch pipe thread. And then that 1 inch pipe thread goes to our tube that'll go to the sprinkler. Now I'm not putting any Teflon tape here. The plastic threads will tighten up themselves. So go ahead and tighten this on. And then for clarity, we'll put that in the hole, and then I'll have my cover here that's going to cover our on-off valve. And then that'll give me access to the on-off valve, but also our extra wires here that we'll be putting in. And then I'll dig out a little bit more, and this will go in the bottom of the sprinkler. But first, now that we have everything together, we'll shut off all of these except for one. And then one by one, we'll go through and we'll do a flush where we're going to flush out everything from this 3/4 inch pipe thread, and just make sure our system is clean before we start putting our sprinklers on and getting everything set up. And I think they call out actually several minutes. I really only ran for about 20 seconds or so, flushing everything. Once I could see at the start, you do see it is a little brown. On this next one, you'll see we're kicking out quite a bit of dirt and debris there. So something you definitely want to be doing is flushing that out. You do not want to gum up your sprinkler heads once you have everything all together. So make sure you're doing this step and giving it time to flush each of these out to make sure our lines are clean and we're ready to get the sprinklers in the ground and start testing things out. And then back close to our water source, I'm just going to drill a small hole with a hammer drill into my garage. And while I'm doing this is I'm going to pass the communication cable into our control unit, which will hang on the inside wall right on the other side of this brick. So I'm just using some 14 gauge wire to stick through that hole, and then a little bit of electrical tape so I can pull the wire through. And then once we get it inside the garage, I can run that up and make sure I'm happy with the location where I have that wire and also a power source for the control unit. The top bracket here, I'll place some drywall anchors in, get that in place, making sure it's level. And then we also have another one for the bottom, make sure everything is looking good, mark those holes, and then I'll put the drywall anchor in, but I will not put the screw in yet. We'll just get those anchors set, get the unit back in place, and then we'll sink those screws for the final mounting. And then last step, we'll go ahead and route that communication cable in and land it on the 2 screw terminals. So now I'll take the communication, put it in the trench with the 1 inch PVC water pipe. I ran another 1 inch PVC that will not have water in it. It's just a passage for the wire to go through so I can easily fit it underneath the sidewalk. Then we'll connect those up to all the different sprinkler heads. And once we have that in place, now we'll start setting each of these. So you're going to have a little more digging, and you're going to connect up that flexible hose, get it in place, and kind of get your layout. You want to make sure that it's barely above the surface, maybe 1/4 to 1/2 inch. You're not going to want to hit that with the lawnmower, obviously, in the future, so you do not want it sticking out too much. I would set that sprinkler head, then start packing it in, and then go ahead and put in your access cover for your water valve. Start packing everything in and just double checking your height before you finish off. One thing is, don't forget the communication cable needs to be coming into those boxes before you start filling everything up. And don't fill your trench quite yet. So we're getting to the home stretch here, but don't forget below the video in the description, I'll have that. So we're kind of getting the home stretch here, and don't forget below the video in the description is the link to Irrigreen, where you could size out a system for your own home and see if it's right. Also, I'll put in promotional codes or any other directions if there's some discounts as they rotate over time, and sometimes you can get a 20 or 30% discount on your system. So now we'll go ahead and connect up at our controller. We're going to start getting everything online, connecting it to our local network so we can start connecting to each of the sprinkler heads themselves. The initial step is just to identify each of your sprinkler heads. I have 4 of those, so you go out and the head actually rotates slightly, and that's how you can identify it and then start to name each one of your sprinklers or each one of your zones. Then you'll do a calibration step. You'll see it takes a couple minutes and the water will start spraying out, so you need your water valve on. It'll rotate around. This also gives you a good chance to make sure your sprinkler is perfectly plumb, perfectly vertical, so it doesn't favor one side or the other. So once the calibration is completed, now we're gonna go to that final step of setting our area for each of the sprinkler heads. It's gonna take a minute or so for it to pick everything up, but once it's identified communication, now you'll be able to start going around and actually see where the water is gonna land, and you'll set points about every 4, 5, or 6 feet, so it can trace around any of your obstacles, your yard, trees, anything that you want to avoid, and make sure that each sprinkler head is interacting correctly where you don't have a lot of overlap. And that's it for the installation. Now, if you've confirmed you don't have any water leaks, you can go ahead and backfill your trenches and go ahead and leave that ground a little bit high. It is gonna compact down over time. If you leave it level right now, you'll probably have a little bit of a divot for each of your trenches. Now, if you have any questions, let me know down in the video in the comment section. I'd be happy to help you out. And again, this was the installation. I'll put a pinned comment there as I use the system over months and months and even years. Any relevant information, I'll try to add that there to benefit your own project. And if you need any help getting that water source to the outside of your house, again, I have this video right here that is an outdoor spigot, but it basically goes through exactly the same process, just instead of the 1/2 inch PEX, you do a 3/4 of an inch PEX like I did here. And then this full lawn renovation, which is a multi-week process. This is only one small part of that. You can check out this video here and it'll show the end results. We're kind of midway as you see it right now. So thanks for joining me on this video, and we'll catch you on one of those next ones. Take care.